Most sellers lose money when listing their home based on pricing and emotion.
And most people don't even realize that they're doing it.
That's right. So today we're sharing some of the most common seller mistakes and how to take pricing errors and emotion completely out of the equation. And I've got all sorts of common seller mistakes written in my book, Insider Home Selling Tips. So we're just going to cover a few of them.
This is Real Estate in Edmonton, where we talk real estate and real life. I'm Tracy Gray, and this is Devin Gray, professional real estate agent with Mogul Realty Group and EXP.
All right, so I guess we'll get right into common selling mistakes. So again, there's all sorts of listings of common selling mistakes in my book. We're just going to cover a few, and actually most of the mistakes actually happen with pricing. There's various different pricing mistakes that a seller will make, but the biggest one has to do with emotion and getting attached to what they think their house is worth based on all the love and experience and the memories that you have from that house over being in that property for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And then on top of that, possibly talking to a neighbor who sold their house, they think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it actually ended up being several months ago. And they don't take into account the difference in square footage, the type or style of property. Maybe you're a two-story and the other one was a bi-level. Double garage due to single garage, finished basement, unfinished basement, just the overall condition. And then, as I said before, thinking that the house just sold a month ago when it actually sold 5 or 6 months ago and the market's changed. Hopefully for the better, but possibly for the worse. And so your property just simply isn't priced in the same fashion as that other one was. And so moving on, taking price out of the, like moving on from pricing, some of the mistakes that people make are staying in the property. It doesn't happen too often, especially when you've got people that are listing it privately or maybe have listed it with a discount brokerage where they haven't necessarily had all of the information in regards to how to properly price the property and properly sell it. But basically, they stay in the property because they can't really let go of or don't like the idea about having strangers come into their house and peering through their closets and walking into various rooms. So they like to stay in the house just to kind of see what's going on. Well, when that happens, it makes the buyer really uncomfortable. And I've seen it time and time again where sometimes it's tenants, but also sometimes it's sellers, and they stay in the property. And that buyer really doesn't want to spend more than about 2 or 3 minutes. They fully recognize that it's your property and that they're more of a visitor, and it gives them a tough challenge to really feel like it's their property that they want to potentially purchase. So make sure you're out of that property during that viewing, and that's going to give them a chance to spend way more time in there, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and really feel like it's their property that they might potentially want to purchase.
Good thinking.
Other considerations is, and this is a tough one, you've priced the property properly, let's say $500,000, and you get a quick offer in the first day or two, but maybe it's just a little bit under list, say 496, 497. You're not quite getting the number you want, but it's a very, very strong offer. Well, the first thought is, wow, I got this first offer in. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's better offers. Maybe there's multiple bids, all sorts of wonderful things. But in a lot of cases, that first strong offer is the best offer. And so it's difficult to let that go, again, from an emotional standpoint, and seriously consider taking that offer. You can always negotiate. You can always come back and say, hey, look, we listed it at $500,000. We'd really like $500,000. Don't just necessarily dismiss that offer. Give it some serious consideration. Another one is underestimating costs. There are several costs to selling a house. Certainly in preparing the house, probably the biggest cost would be decluttering and refreshing it, renovations, possibly staging. So you really got to make sure that you've priced out all of those costs. But then from a closing standpoint, you've had the offer, you've agreed on it, you're working towards removing conditions. You need to make sure that you have looked ahead in regards to what all those costs are going to be. Legal fees, realtor fees, title insurance. Possibly you need to get a real property report, which could cost anywhere from $600 to $900. Moving costs, have you figured out exactly what it's going to cost for you to hire a moving company to get all your items out? So make sure that you really take the time to look at what your total costs are going to be when you're selling that house. And then the last one is letting emotions go during negotiations. I see this all the time, both on the buying and the selling side. We're negotiating and we're getting down to this last few $1,000s, and emotions and that need to win the day starts to kick in. And there's lots of times when negotiations can stall out over just a few $1,000s. And it's not so much that the price that we could probably get to is not fair for one side or the other. It's most likely fair, but there's usually somebody in that negotiation on the buyer or the seller side that has that win at all costs attitude, and they've got to win the day. Yeah, yes, a lot of times people want to have their offer, their final offer, be the one that gets chosen. That doesn't necessarily work out all the time. But bottom line, you really want to take a step back and not get emotional about the first negotiation when you're just trying to get the property under contract, but then also that second or retrade negotiation after the inspection where somebody's coming back, the buyer's coming back and basically saying, hey, this is wrong, that's wrong, we want you to fix it, or more so, we want money off, and you're going to see that sale price drop. So there's lots more common selling mistakes in this book, Insider Selling Tips. But those are just a few to make sure that you have a great experience in selling your house in the upcoming year.
Right. Yeah, reach out if you'd like a free copy. We'll remind you again at the end, but in the meantime, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is called Beyond the Numbers, because when you're talking about real estate, you also are possibly looking at moving there, maybe not just as an investment property, but you might also be looking at moving and you want to know about the community. But those same numbers, if you wanted to live in the city, are also going to affect what the market rates are. So it's all tied in. I like to look at beyond the numbers because it's the schools, it's the communities, it's the goings on that makes it a great city and makes it so that the numbers stay strong and make it affordable for housing and living in Edmonton, and also make it a good city for families too. So that brings us to the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. So I'm a radio announcer, broadcaster, and I had the incredible opportunity to broadcast live for 12 hours on two radio stations, Kiss and Country 103.9 and 880 Ched. It was the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery last week. We had a full day broadcast, well, full day and then some, 12 hours. I've had lots of people ask me how I could do this long broadcast, but I just pretend that the lottery show home I'm in is my home and that it's an open house and everyone is welcome. We just have a big fun day.
It's never a hard day for you to get up for that 12-hour remote. That I know.
And then it's the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery, because the money from the tickets for the lottery go towards not just winning great prizes, but then also it goes to help out a really great cause too. It's raised for essential things that the Stollery needs, and the Stollery is our children's hospital. And go ahead.
Well, and also working towards building their own building. Is right now they're
That's
embedded
right.
in the U of A, University of Alberta Hospital, but they are working on building their own hospital, which is fantastic.
So that's incredibly exciting. And the money also goes to critical care equipment, because they're going to need that in the new hospital, life-saving research, pediatric innovation, because they really are incredible for that. And families navigating unimaginable situations. We have children with food allergies, so we have used the Stollery a lot. It's been essential for our lives and for our families, and really a great part of the community. And so we love being a part of the Mighty Millions Lottery because it helps to support that. And yes, that would be an amazing goal, is to get this new hospital built. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Well, and also with well over 100,000 people moving to Edmonton, and the last full hospital that was built in Edmonton was the Grey Nuns in the 1980s. There's been different smaller hospitals, Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, and that and different medi centers, but there has not been a full hospital built. There's one that is supposed to be built on the deep south, just along the Anthony Henday, but I'm sure that when the Stollery moves out, that's going to open up more hospital space for the U of A, which I know is certainly well needed as well. So it's a win-win all the way across.
Yeah, I've had multiple people say to me that they weren't even born when the Grey Nuns Hospital was built. Give an idea of how old it was, and they're adults now with kids of their own. So, yeah, it's essential for us to get this built, and would be phenomenal for all the families in and around Edmonton. And even if you don't have kids yourself, you are uncles and aunts, and you can become grandparents through new marriages and that. So everyone either needs the hospital at some point or knows someone who does.
Yeah.
So that's why we really like supporting it. Also, it's great people that come through the show home. Like, I had such an amazing time, and even had lots of my own friends come and visit it because they support it as well. My younger brother drove up from Calgary just to tour the house. It wasn't just the only reason, but he did. He came and toured it. And then also they brought in special guest Oiler alumni, Kelly Buchberger. He came and he was signing autographs for fans. And so that was a really, really exciting moment for the show home.
And you got his signature on your autograph stick.
I should have brought my stick here so I could show it off.
Next time.
I got Kelly Buchberger, and I got Cujo now.
That's right.
Too. Yeah. Curtis Joseph. All right. So we really want to thank everybody who came through the show home, everyone who's got their tickets, because then they have a chance to win, but then also they're supporting a great cause. And also Burkholz Homes does an amazing representation of some of the design and craftsmanship that you'll find in homes in and around Edmonton. This home is simply gorgeous. And they did a spectacular job as always. And I really love how this ties in real estate, because this is an example of real estate being used to give back to the community. So shout out to Burkholz for the beautiful home that they.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great, long-time, reputable local builder, and it's definitely a home worth checking out.
All right. Well, we're going to go on to our next segment. And that's actually our last segment too, what's happening around Edmonton. So obviously the Stollery wanting to build a new hospital, that is definitely along those lines. But Hawrelak Park has been a buzz lately.
I can't believe it's been 3 years. Yeah, it's shocking that, wow, it feels like they just shut the park down last fall.
It's a big green space. It's always had playgrounds, lots of stuff to do for families, outdoor stuff, which is nice. It's right on the river, on the North Saskatchewan, and so the location couldn't be more amazing. But they've had it shut down, like Devin pointed out, for 3 years. We're missing this big space, and it's the home of multiple festivals throughout Edmonton. Heritage Festival on the August Long Weekend has always had a home there, and so they had to shut it down because it was in desperate need of renovating. And the playground for it is scheduled to open up this spring. So that's a big buzz around Edmonton. We'll have access to that park again, and a brand new playground for families and kids.
Yeah, and also in speaking of with the new playgrounds opening up as well, so I'm on McArthur, which is the Millwoods Cultural and Recreational Facilities Association, and one of the this organization builds parks and buildings and structures to help enhance the community, and we opened up in the Jackie Parker Park, just off of the White Mud and 50th Street, a sensory playground. And so that quietly opened up last year, and now we're going to also have a grand opening later on this spring. So all sorts of parks.
Yeah, and you start to go, how many playgrounds does Edmonton need?
That's right. More and more.
More is the answer. Yeah. We always need more.
Yeah. So this is the first one in Canada. We're very excited about that. We spent the day playing on some of the structures last year, and it was lots of fun. So that's we haven't got a official grand opening planned yet, but it will be coming up obviously when the snow melts and it's a little warmer outside. Yeah,
that's right. We'll do our show right from there. And then I have a friend who's in a wheelchair, and she's not a kid anymore, but she wanted to come and check out this inclusive playground because she couldn't remember the last time that she had actually been in a playground. And not only could she come and kind of go around the playground, but she was able to use everything in the playground, and that blew her mind. So it really shows how much we need this inclusivity, and how forward thinking that is. And maybe all playgrounds should be like that. Why wouldn't we make them all inclusive for kids? But this is definitely opening good doors towards that.
Yes. And then the other thing as well, I know you want to talk about, this is something we can only talk about once every 4 years.
Yes, the Winter Olympics.
That's right.
So what does that mean for Edmonton? Well, that means our bars are going to be super busy as fans go there to cheer on their favorite Canadian athletes. But that's not just bars in Edmonton. That's going to be affecting the local community all across Canada, as it's going to be creating more activity. If there's paid parking around the bars, that's adding to the city. Not that we like paying for paid parking, but it keeps that momentum going. Any shops around those areas, it keeps a buzz of activity, which means that that's going to be great for the community.
Yes, and so Canada, the men's team starts up, and so there'll be lots of people sneaking away from work or having their cell phones quietly under their desks and various things like that while they watch.
You said you had a meeting.
Yeah, that's right. It won't necessarily be as bad as when the. I still remember when they were opening up the bars at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning because. I believe that might have been when the games were in Beijing, or maybe it was actually. I think it was when it was in Sochi in Russia, because that was the last time the NHL players played was 2014. So that would have been it. And they opened up. They made a special concession right across the country for the bars to be able to open up super early in the morning to watch that gold medal game. So I don't think it'll be quite that bad. It seems like a lot of the games will be starting mid to late morning, at least in our mountain time. But it'll be a lot of fun. A great unifying experience as everyone rallies around Team Canada, hopefully win the gold.
And that's where there's an advantage to having to be up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work, because I was able to watch the game at work.
Oh, is there a hockey game on?
Oh, what? Oh, let me check it out just to make sure it's actually on there. Yeah.
That's right.
So, not many people have to be up that early for that.
And some exciting news. So there is a great and wonderful organization called Wealth Genius that started up about 5 years ago. And the Mogul Realty Group, to which I am on that team, has signed up to be the Edmonton Realtor service provider for the upcoming year. So again, Wealth Genius, it's a coaching organization that helps people learn real estate strategies to become wealthy and successful and financial freedom and all those wonderful things, specifically focusing on multifamily properties.
That all sounds amazing.
Yeah. So Mogul will be heavily involved both in person and online at all sorts of upcoming events in Western Canada and potentially down east. I know one of their big, their signature event every year is called Expand. And last year it was in Edmonton. We missed that one, but it'll be in Ottawa this year in May, and we're hoping to be involved there. So very exciting.
Yeah, and another way that we're involved, some even more exciting news, is they have a very successful podcast through Wealth Genius, and they asked us to be guests on the podcast. Yeah. But then we said, well, yes, but we want you to be guests on our podcast. So they said, absolutely. Sure. So what we did is we did this really cool concept of doing a crossover. I call it crossover hybrid podcast. It's high energy, packed with insights. So make sure that you watch for that episode, because that is going to be coming out very shortly.
You bet. All right, we're wrapping things up for this edition. So keep in mind when you're selling, avoid emotion, and also talk to an expert when it comes to preparing to list your home or actually having your home on the market. And we wish you all the success in regards to that. And happy to reach out or happy to connect with you if you have any questions about selling or listing your home. And again, reach out as well. If you'd like more information, you can reach out and get my Insider Home Selling Tips book.
He's got so many hats that he wears. He's a professional real estate agent, but also does a great Vanna White.
Yes, there you go.
There. Oh, lovely. Yeah, make sure to reach out and we'll send you.
Is there a N in that? Yes, there is. There's a couple N's. There you go.
And here's our end to the podcast. This is Real Estate in Edmonton. Thank you so much for watching. This is where we talk real estate and real life, and we'd really like you to join us again.
Take care.
Bye.